One of my favorite parts of working in real estate is watching buyers get the keys to their new home and start dreaming about all the ways they're going to make it their own. They're excited about renovations, furniture, paint colors, everything. And honestly, that excitement is one of the best parts of buying a home. But over the years, I've also seen something else happen. People make certain upgrades or renovations that they later regret. And sometimes it's because they spend a lot of money on something they barely use. Other times it's because the renovation actually hurt the resale value of the home. So in this video, I want to walk you through some of the home upgrades people most commonly regret and hopefully save you some money before you make those same mistakes. If you're about to move into a new home or you're thinking about making changes to the one you already have, this is definitely something you will want to hear. And if you find videos like this helpful, make sure to like and subscribe because I share tips like this all the time about buying, selling, and making smart decisions with real estate. So let's start outside with one upgrade that became extremely popular over the last few years. Large outdoor kitchens. You've probably seen them. The built-in grill, refrigerator, stone counters, the whole setup. They look amazing. But what many homeowners realize later is that they spent $10,000 or $20,000 or more on something they barely use, especially in climates where outdoor entertaining only happens a few months out of the year. It sounds great in theory, but for many people, it ends up being underutilized. The next one might surprise some people, and this is swimming pools. Don't get me wrong, pools can be wonderful, but they also come with costs people sometimes underestimate. Maintenance, cleaning, higher insurance, and repairs over time. And I've also seen families install pools when their kids are younger, and then a few years later, the kids get older and stop using it as much. So if you're considering adding a pool, just make sure you're doing it because you truly not want one, not because you will think it will dramatically increase the value of the house. Another outdoor upgrade I've seen people regret is installing large wooden playground structures. You know the big ones with slides, climbing walls, swings, the whole setup. They can cost several $1,000s, and the reality is kids often outgrow them fairly quickly. Then you're left with a large structure taking up space in the backyard. So if you do want something like that for your kids, it might be worth considering something simpler or more temporary. Now let's move inside the house. One of the biggest things people regret is spending a lot of money on high-end appliances right after they move in. It's tempting to go out and buy the most expensive refrigerator, oven, or washer and dryer right away. But many homeowners later realized they didn't actually need the luxury version. The basics work just as well, and that money could have gone toward another improvement in the home. Another upgrade people often regret is installing those large freestanding soaking tubs. They look beautiful in design magazines and model homes, but in reality, they take up a lot of space and can be harder to clean. And many homeowners later realize they rarely use them. So before adding something like that, it's worth asking yourself whether it truly fits your lifestyle. Now, let's talk about renovations that can actually hurt resale value. One of the big ones is converting a garage into living space. I understand why people do it. It can feel like an easy way to add more room to the house, but when it comes to sell, many buyers specifically want a garage. And losing that space can shrink your buyer pool and make the home harder to sell. Another conversion that sometimes causes issues is turning a bedroom into a large walk-in closet. It may be amazing while you live there, but when you remove a bedroom, you're also reducing the home's official bedroom count. And buyers will often see that as something that they'll have to convert back later. So one more trend that people sometimes regret is open shelving in kitchens. It's become very popular with the farmhouse style, and it looks great in photos, but homeowners often discover they lost valuable storage space and suddenly everything in the kitchen is on display and it's harder to make it look clean. So for many people, traditional cabinets end up being much more practical. Now, if you've just moved into a home and you're thinking about renovations, here are a few things I always recommend to my clients. First, take care of any repairs that need attention right away. That is always the first priority. Second, and this is important, live in the house for a while before making big changes. I usually tell people to give it about a year if possible. Once you live in a home through all the seasons, you start to understand how the space really functions. You realize certain changes you thought you wanted actually are not necessary anymore. And another important tip is to create a renovation budget and then add about 20% as a buffer. Renovations almost always uncover something unexpected, so planning ahead helps avoid stress later. And when deciding where to focus renovations, most experts agree the areas that bring the most value are kitchens, bathrooms, and main living spaces. So those are the areas used most and the ones that tend to influence buyers the most as well. Finally, before doing any structural work, electrical changes, or major renovations, always check with your local municipality about permits. Permits may feel like an extra step, but skipping them can create serious problems when you go to sell the home later. At the end of the day, the goal with renovation is not just making your home look beautiful, it's making sure the upgrades improve how the home actually functions and holds value over time. I'd love to hear from you. What's one upgrade you've seen someone regret after doing it? Let me know in the comments, and click that link below if you want to connect. I can help connect you to a real estate agent in your area that does business just like me, or we can talk about the loan options.